Hi, everybody. How are you? Happy Friday if you're watching this live. Hopefully the sound is okay. I'm playing with actually a new microphone. So hopefully it's all good. I am so excited to be talking about the new moon in Virgo, which, depending on where you are, either happened yesterday, happening today. But it's so interesting how I always think I'm going to be talking about something, and then something else comes up in my life where I'm like, okay, maybe I need to talk about that too. Maybe I need to share that bit with everybody. And I am just feeling I'm in between excited, frazzled, um, exhausted. I don't know. I'm feeling a bunch of different things. So I'm just going to light a little bit of sage for us, just to clear out a little bit of what's going on for me. Hopefully that doesn't transfer over to anybody that's watching this now or later. Um, I just need to cleanse that out, just release it. It's a good practice for yourself if you're ever wondering about what can I do to sort of shift my energy. Breath work is probably the number one thing that you can do. You always can breathe, so you can always just settle back into yourself. The other thing that I obviously like to do is either sage. You can use a bunch of different things. I have some cedar. Some people use Palo Santo. I feel like you can use different things for different emotions or different states. So I don't really want to guide you in what you should be doing, but whatever feels right for you. Sometimes just getting outside, putting your feet in the grass is a really nice way of grounding yourself. Just stepping away from whatever you're doing, if it's work, if it's family, just having a little break for yourself. So I was just needing to do that as well. So I had written a bunch of things that I wanted to talk about with the new moon in Virgo, and I sort of scrapped most of it. And if you're new here, hello, my name is Mary at Rivers Journey Wellness. Welcome. This is going to be a time where I'm going to share a little bit of information. I am going to share a little bit of information about the new moon in Virgo, and then we're going to do a little bit of meditation and Reiki. So you can release whatever you need to release, but then also so you can get prepared for whatever your new beginning is, whatever is coming up for you. So hopefully you'll stick around for that or enjoy it on the replay. So new moons, so different lunations have different energies. A full moon, it's sort of like it's like cleansing, it's like illumination, it's sometimes a time for releasing. And then new moons is usually about like new beginnings, restarting, or refreshing. And this one I really love. I love this one for a couple of reasons. One, we're getting ready for that transition into autumn in the Northern Hemisphere. So there definitely is a time for new beginnings, just energetically with cycles and rhythms, which is really, really neat. And I also like this new moon because as we're getting into that transition of new energy, we're starting to slow down. It's really soft energy, or it's softer energy than we had from summer. So it just feels a little bit different. Feels different for me. Hopefully it feels different for you. If you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. How do you feel energy? It's okay. You probably do feel it. It just may not be something that you're consciously aware of yet. But anyways, with this new moon in Virgo, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about that Virgo energy. So there is this sense of like wisdom from within, that everything that you need is contained in you. And for so long, I thought of the Virgo. I mean, the Virgo sign is a woman, right, with a I don't know what it's called, a thing of wheat, whatever the thing is called. And I think a lot of people refer to her as the Virgin. And so I feel like there is this connotation of like innocence or not knowing or I don't know what, but I sort of this might be a little feminist rant, but it dawned on me that it's like It's independence. It's I have everything that I need within myself. I don't need another. And that to me is not in maybe it's not truly the essence of innocence, but to me it's not that like fragile or vulnerable single female, but it's that strength from the feminine energy. It is that resourcefulness. It's that ability to nurture and nourish yourself with everything that you already have within you, of course, and then the resources that you're able to find. um, I have no idea why it never dawned on me until, until this week, but it really hit me and struck me as like, this is something that we sort of have been shading in a different way. So I was really excited to share my perspective. I don't know if anyone else has any perspectives on what Virgo energy means to them. I do feel like it's some grounding, very connected to the earth, which is awesome to me, very feminine energy, right, connected to the earth. But then also there's a little bit of shadow side. The shadow side, we all have shadow side. It's pretty normal. It's not something that you have to eliminate from yourself. It's something that we want to heal and integrate so we feel a little bit more whole. But the shadow side of this, of Virgo and of this new moon, is like perfectionism, and then also a little bit of like self criticism, really picking on yourself, really getting bogged down and like, I'm not getting it exactly right. And I don't know what exactly right would look like. But sometimes good enough is good enough. And so just giving ourselves that permission to show up. Genuinely, which does mean that we are going to show up with all of our nicks and scrapes and be okay with that. So, hopefully that, I mean, that's like just a tiny little blurb about Virgo. But if anyone has anything, oh, JL says, I totally see Virgo as perfection and overthinking anxiety energy sometimes. Yes. And that's like the shadow. The other part of it, the other side of that is like wisdom, just knowing is huge. And the reason why I scrapped everything that I was going to kind of talk about today was I wanted to share an experience that I just had. I literally just had this yesterday. And so I thought it was just so interesting that it happened at this time. This new beginning energy to me, so it may not feel like this to everybody, and it's totally fine if you don't feel this way as well, but I'll just express what I was feeling. I feel like this new beginning energy is about doing something that you've never done before, not just like, oh, it's a fresh start. Oh, I'm going to recommit myself to, looking at my health or whatever it might be. I feel like it is that, but it's like in a totally different way. If without restraints or confinements, what would you do? What would you experience? How would you create those steps? Because there's a very analytical part, and that's kind of the shadow. Remember that shadow of perfectionism, but there's an analytical part to this energy. And it's like, I can think of the steps that I need to take. I can come up with the strategies so that I can work on these little bits and pieces to get to my end goal. And it's curious. it's it's all just curious to me how things fall into place. So I want you to start thinking about that new beginning in a different way, not so much of like, oh, I kind of already done this before, or a few years ago I tried this and this was nice. Thinking about something in a really big way. And the beginning of the week I pulled a card, and I'm always happy and a little nervous when I got Kali, which is goddess of liberation. I love her. She is fierce. She is independent. She is strong, but she's also nourishing and nurturing to those that she shows up for. She is a divine mother. So there is that, I've got you, right? I'm going to hold you through this. And I was blown away that I pulled that card for the new beginnings, because I thought that's like really asking you to just blow it up, just explode the things that haven't been working so you can kind of see what's remaining. What's remaining from me is usually like our strengths, our talents, our gifts, the good stuff about us, our shine. And it's like, how can I use that stuff to get me closer to my goal, as opposed to forcing it or pushing it or having some sort of external expectation kind of laid over, our wants or desires. So that was really exciting for me. And I'll tell you the experience yesterday that sort of like rattled me. For people that don't know, I have Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disease. I don't know what they consider it, but it's basically like my thyroid's very wonky, and my body's creating antibodies and attacking the thyroid, thinking that it's like a bad thing. Super. So there's that. So I was going to the endocrinologist, and I'd already seen my levels. I'd already done my blood work, so I knew where they were at. I was kind of anticipating what she was going to say, that like the levels look great, and I'm so surprised that you're not feeling well, right? And she did say that. She did sort of affirm for me that even though the my blood levels are saying that the medication's doing what it needs to be doing, I still have all these side effects. I still don't feel awesome. I don't feel like myself. And as I was talking to her, she looked up at me, and I've been working with her for about 3 years. She's a newer doctor for me, but I've been working with her for 3 years and was pretty hopeful at the beginning of the time that I met, and the things that she had told me about how she could support the Hashimoto's. And she looked at me yesterday, and she sort of had a look of annoyance, irritation. And she said to me, "I don't think I can help you anymore." And I was like, what does that mean? And she said, "I don't think there's anything that I can do for you. So why don't we meet in a year? We'll see where your thyroid's at then. And if we have to make any changes, we'll make changes then. Of course, you can call me in between, but there's nothing else that I can do for you." And I was like, jaw on the floor, like, "What? You're basically firing me as a patient." So I was like, "Really?" I said, "There's nothing else that you can think of that I can add or subtract from my life? I can do a little different. Is there a supplement? Is there something that I can be taking?" She was like, "No, I think we've exhausted that," which, okay. And then she said, "Maybe you need to go back to an integrative medicine." I don't know if their doctor's doctor. And I was like, "Huh, okay." And she was like, "It's just really frustrating." And I sort of was taken aback. I'm one of those people that I don't have like the quick responses, the quick comeback. 2 hours later, I'll be like, "Oh, yeah, well, blah, blah, blah," right? When it doesn't matter. But I was sitting there, and I had nothing to say. But I thought to myself, she's frustrated. How about living with this for 18 years and never having relief? How about going to doctor after doctor and them saying, "I don't know, new normal, get used to it." And then for her to say, a few years ago, "I'm so excited. We've got all these things that we can try." And then to come back from that and say, "Yeah, I'm feeling frustrated. I really can't suggest anything else. So, you go off on your own." I was floored. I had nothing to say. The nurse came back in, she scheduled my appointment for next year, and I was like, "What just happened?" In my field, if a client comes to me with something that I'm like, "Ooh, I don't know how to work with this," or, we're trying all these different strategies and they haven't really helped. How do we pivot? What do I need to learn about? Who do I need to consult with? Is there something that we can talk about in a different way? Or there my mind starts going into troubleshooting, because I want people to have relief. I want people to feel better. I want there to feel like an opportunity for healing, and really just witnessing like what people are experiencing. And she did none of that, right? She didn't provide any of that for me. And I was like so mad. I was fuming. I was texting my husband in the car. I'm like, blah, 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 right? And turn on the car, start to drive, and I hear this song, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh." It doesn't really matter what she says. It doesn't really matter what she can or cannot provide for me. It doesn't matter what her solution is. I know what makes me feel good. I know what makes me feel better. So why don't I just give myself permission to do more of that? Right? It's not in the form of a pill. It's not in the form of a supplement, although I do take some supplements. But, it's like, what if I just did the things that really made me feel good? What if I walked more with Norbert, my dog? What if I, got outside more often? What if I took more breaks? What if I saw less clients? What if I tried to eat a little bit better? there's always room for improvement in those things, right? But I thought, like, what if I just go back within and trust my wisdom of knowing my body? JL says, Wasa, I'm so sorry that happened to you, especially since you never give up on your. Oh, thanks. I literally had my PCP doctor refuse ordering blood work for me this week. I wanted for peace of mind. That's crappy. What is with the doctors this week? They stink. Maybe it's their perfectionism. Maybe they're criticizing themselves or being frustrated that we're not fitting in their little boxes, right? And what does it matter to your doctor if he orders the blood work, you get it done? Okay, it's this or it's that. That's craziness. I'm sorry you had to go through that. That stinks. It really does. But here's the thing, trust your gut, trust your instinct. If there's something that you think is wrong or amiss, like take action on that. And if it's not something that you can't do for yourself, seek out that support in a different way. Maybe even going to a different doctor. Don't go to my endocrinologist if it's something related to thyroids, or diabetes. I guess she works at that too. But yeah, so true. I totally agree with you. Oh, and I support you too. I was mad, then figured it means I will find a holistic practitioner. Yes, yes. I think that's the key, right? And I go back to one of the times in my life I never thought I would ever do acupuncture. Over 20 years ago, when I started doing acupuncture, I thought it was like crazy. I thought it was like voodoo. I didn't think it was real medicine, right? Even though it's been around for thousands and thousands of years. My American brain was saying, no, this isn't medicine. And I never felt so fabulous as when I was going weekly, actually. I was going weekly for acupuncture, and then we sort of spaced it out. But I had never felt so good. And it was really interesting because that philosophy is more about like, let's treat the root cause as opposed to let's treat the symptoms, right? We're still not really sure, like, why is my body creating these antibodies that's attacking the thyroid? It could be inflammation. It could be, I did have a really bad case of mono when I was a kid, Epstein-Barr virus. And that I think is the thing that shot my adrenals and shot my endocrine system. And so, okay, so how do we address that? How do we support that? And that's why I really like holistic practitioners, because they're like, let's look at the root. I mean, that's the same kind of thing about counseling. Is I'm going to give you some strategies, or coaching or Reiki or whatever that you're coming to see me for. I'm going to give you some strategies, but the goal is to like get into the mix, get into the bottom, and really understand, like, what do we have to support or heal at the root so everything else flourishes. So that was my big like aha moment this week, with this energy, that I thought, why do I discount what I know? And I have a feeling most of us do that. We discount somebody else knows more, or they tell me no, that can't be a thing, so it must not be, or this is the way that it's always been done in the family, or this is how we do things at work, and we just have to suck it up and go with it. And we discount so much of our wisdom. We discount so much of our intuitive knowing. And when I was thinking about, it's not this innocent, untouched virgin, but it's really this independence. It's this fierce and strong energy that Virgo can bring, right? It's not that we're helpless. It's that we have to find that hope within us, right? Mahalo Mindset says, thank you for sharing. This is a great example in life. Yeah, thanks. It sucked in the moment, but I think it really liberated me, right? It really allowed me to release some of my mindset stuff, my stuff that I get, I don't know, bogged down in. So when we think about new beginnings, it can be as expansive as, I'm going to do a whole new thing, or I'm going to do something in a whole different way, or I'm going to recommit myself to something. This time is a really good time to start thinking about, especially with autumn coming in, and really starting to think about how do we nourish and nurture ourselves beyond self-care, right? Like, what are we consuming food wise? But then are we over consuming like negativity? My biggest rant, toxic masculinity, comparison. Is there too much time on social media, too much time listening to the news that's really like fear based and really trying to captivate you and keep you on edge by giving you a whole bunch of junk that you probably don't need, right? So, is it a time for detoxing? Maybe not the physical body, because it is a time for nourishing it. So, if you thinking about doing something like that, it would be real gentle. Detoxing can sort of be a shock to the system, but maybe it's a detox from social media or from toxic people or from things that just sort of drain you, that don't add anything, that don't replenish to you. So it's always curious. I mean, what you're experiencing in your life, how you interpret that, you are the best you're the best person to find those solutions for yourself of what can I do? What should be my next step? When we're stuck in a place of worry or fear, those answers don't really come to us. It's hard to see it's hard to see what our next step is going to be or could be, because we're stuck in fear. We're stuck in the what ifs. We're stuck in the worry. We're stuck in self doubt and self criticism, probably, potentially perfectionism, right? And so we don't really have a great sense of that. But when we can get grounded, when we can come back to ourselves, really just sink into that confidence, maybe, of like inner knowing, it's huge. And so this time, I know I always say, like, I feel like every lunation I'm like, and it's a time to get back in nature, but it kind of is, especially with just the changing of seasons. But it's a time to receive that nourishing, nurturing energy from the earth. So it is a really good time to go out in nature. It's always a good time, I guess, to go out in nature. But you know, that I thought was a good example of like, oh yeah, the mind can do a trick on us. And then I wasn't ready to think about getting a new doctor. I wasn't thinking about doing it myself. I just kind of wanted the easy, here's what we're going to do. And that's not it's not what I needed in the moment. So there you go. I do have a couple. I want to just read out some of my journal prompts that I had come up with, and some of the affirmations for this energy, for this time. And then we'll do a little bit of meditation and Reiki. I needed it. Oh my gosh, I needed self Reiki last night like nobody's business. So I, I already did that. But I feel like, okay, we all can benefit from that as well. So let me pull up. Um, that's pressing buttons is always a trick. Okay. I just came up with a few journal prompts, stuff you can think about, stuff that you can write about, stuff that you can meditate on. However you want to use it is totally fine. If you don't want to use it, it's fine. Sometimes when you hear stuff, even if it's something that you're not going to apply to yourself, it sort of triggers a thought of like, oh, I could do this, or oh, this reminds me of that. Go with those things, right? This is just sort of a starting off or launching point for you. But with this new moon in Virgo, what are you hoping to renew? What are you hoping to refresh? What would you like to create in your life at this time? So that's one thing to think about. What needs to be released to make room for something new? So I guess I had to hear from my doctor, there's nothing I can do. Medication's fine. You're good. Before I could start thinking about, okay, I need to release that hope that medication is going to help fix this so that I can start thinking about something new. So what do you need to release to make space for something new? What are the patterns that I'm ready to change? So sometimes if there's resistance to creating change, it can be because of that it doesn't feel aligned with you. if everybody's going and doing the new fad diet, whatever, I don't even know what it is. I know people were doing like paleo and Whole30 for a while. I don't know if there's any research behind that. Those are good things. I have no idea. But, if you're hearing everybody doing that and you're like, I should do that too, that's the thing that's going to get me in shape because it got this person in shape. But then there's some resistance to that. Know that could be your inner knowing, your wisdom saying, that's not really something that I want to do, or that's not really something that I feel like I could maintain. And so, where are the patterns, or what are the patterns that you're ready to change? So, if you're like, I do want to tweak my diet, but maybe I don't want to go to that extreme, tap into your inner knowing and see what would be the best thing for you. Another big one is, where am I seeing opportunities to analyze, adapt, and move forward? That is very Virgo. And that is the opposite of shadow, right? That's the opposite of shadow for this time. And so, taking a moment just to pause and think about things. However, setting that intention for me is a little bit easier. Setting that intention that I'm just going to be open to whatever comes my way, or I'm going to be open to receiving the messages that I need to know so that I can solve this, so I can come up with steps, so that I can move forward. Yesterday, that car ride home, I got very excited about like, I'm just going to do it my own way and see what happens. I'll be a lot happier. I can guarantee that. But I didn't really sit down and say like, okay, I need to come up with a schedule of walking, 5 times a week with Norbert. Maybe I just allow myself to sort of receive those taps on the shoulders of like, today's a good day. Today is a good day to go walk. Or maybe my schedule will open up. I just had an hour open up this morning that was, ideal for me to get outside. So we don't have to put a lot of pressure or effort into that. So some other journal prompts, what in my environment, and this is sort of a big umbrella, so finances, relationships, habits, anything like that, have not been fully supportive or healthy or loving, not allowing me to live genuinely and authentically. So we do have to do a little bit of going deeper with some of these. And there's, again, wisdom in knowing that there's just an awareness. When we have that awareness of like, this isn't working for me, it takes away a little bit of the pressure and the stress. When have I discounted my abilities to be successful? I love this one. I mean, I'm laughing because I write these because they're, stuff that's relatable to me. And sometimes it's stuff that I'm like, oh, my client can use this. Um, but I can tell you lots of times that I've discounted my abilities. I've discounted the fact that I can be successful in a particular area. For what reason? Probably fear, doubt, some programming, I would think, from childhood and anything that was a little bit wonky. But okay, so I've done that. And how have I resisted being more independent? We need to know the times that we sort of stumbled a little bit so we can have strategies in place to support that. And so we can feel like we have just that safety net underneath us as we're trying to move into some sort of new beginning. And then, of course, I talked about this before, but how do I intend to nurture or nourish myself? This is that time to start thinking about it. Other ones that I had written down, how can I use my personal gifts or talents to create a better life for myself? So I love altruism. I like my work because I get to give to others. However, we need to also focus it on ourselves. So how can I use my gifts and talents to support me? And I don't mean like support me in a career. I mean, how can I use those strengths? So if you're really creative, I know I'm like, I don't know. I'm stuck on like diet and dieting today. I think I'm hungry. I haven't eaten lunch yet. But if you are really good at coming up with creative recipes or meal planning, how can I give that to myself? How can I create that ease and flow with something that I do naturally or a skill I naturally have to apply it to myself? What are old stories that need to be released about personal confidence and supporting my dream? So again, I can tell you times that I've like sort of chipped away at my own self-confidence because of the stories I was telling myself about my abilities. So What needs to be released? Why was I telling myself those stories? And sometimes they still pop up. What do I need to heal in that area? Um, and then this is another big one, especially again now for Virgo, but then also as we're moving into autumn. How can I use my gifts and talents to be of service to others, and especially to animals and to the earth? And this can be very small scale. Do I want to do something different with my pets, or my furry family or my animal family? Do I want to take care of my yard in a different way? Do I want to plant flowers? Whatever it might be. Or on the bigger scale of, do I want to do volunteer work? Do I want to contribute to a not-for-profit? How do I want to get involved? So that's something to kind of think about. So those are some journal prompts. And then I am going to read you my affirmations, I think while we're doing the meditation, because I was looking at the time. I'm like, oh crap, it's 12:30. Yes, I will do that instead. I will read them to you while we're doing a little bit of meditation and Reiki. So I invite you, if you have any questions or comments, I always forget, go ahead and put that in there. I get on a roll. I feel like I'm ranting. I don't know. And then I'm like, I forget. I need to ask if you guys have any questions or concerns or need support. If you need support in any of these areas, feel free to type it in there. I don't have an appointment until 3. So not that I'll be here for that long, but so if you have any questions or comments or, hey, how do I do this? What the heck does that mean? Sometimes I'm not clear. I know that. And I think in terms of stories and analogies, metaphors, and I know sometimes people need just very direct. So if you're like, can you give me an example of what you're talking about or what you mean? I'm just saging again. I got all fired up. I got a release. I'm not mad at and the crazy thing is, I think normally, when I was in the car, I was livid. That's gone. Like now I can laugh about it because I'm like, she did me a favor. She gave me that direction to go back and trust my wisdom. So there is no more anger there, but I did get all fired up. So let's just release some of that stuff. Okay. So I'm going to have you, if you're able to get comfortable, if you're able to just put the work aside, whatever you're doing, whatever you're working on, go ahead and do that. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes, you're welcome to do that. I like to close my eyes to tune everything out and to really go within. I have another new candle. This one it's like salt water and some flour. I don't know what it is. But I'm gonna light that. And it's gonna be loud because it's maybe I won't light it. It's a woodwick candle, so it makes a lot of noise, so I'll put it far. But we'll set that intention for your new beginning, for your wisdom, for being able to nurture and nourish yourself in just the right way that makes sense for you. That's part of your gifts and talents, part of your skill set. So we'll light that candle. So go ahead. I like to take a few breaths, even after you've closed your eyes, just to get centered. And it doesn't have to be in any particular breath work style. Just deeply in, deeply out. Just returning to home within. That sacred place that's so special. It's a place that our life doesn't allow us an opportunity to always reside in. It's because fast pace and pressures. It's so helpful if we can go back to that place. I'm going to use this as selenite. I'm just going to use a little bit of selenite. This is good for like drawing out the energetic ick. So I'm just going to start by doing that. I released my energetic ick in the car yesterday. I want you to be able to as well. We're going to have a little bit of guided meditation with this Reiki. So I'm just going to open that for myself so I can just read from that. So just allow yourself to relax. There's nothing else that you need to focus on or worry about. Giving yourself permission to just slow down and settle into that quiet space for yourself. The only thing that you have to do to receive Reiki is just to be open to it. You can just acknowledge it to yourself. I'm open. I'm ready to receive. And you can call in any of your guides or guardians, Reiki guides. You have them even if you don't know it. Spirit guides, animal allies. Any of your ancestors or ascended masters, archangels or goddesses. I feel like when I pull cards, they're for myself and sometimes for clients as well. So if Kali resonates, if you are ready to liberate yourself from past habits or patterns, any of that stuff that you want to release, you can call in Kali as well. She'll be there to support you. During the new moon, the sky appears dark, but the moon is so powerful during this phase. The universe is asking us to take a leap, seemingly into the darkness. But know that you're never alone. Never without guidance. The universe is asking us to trust ourselves, trust our inner wisdom as we move through this phase of transition. Settling into a new cycle, a new rhythm as autumn approaches. Being able to see clearly from a different perspective, maybe a higher perspective, what we want for ourselves. Opening up our ability to see those new opportunities. And truly feeling inspired. Just knowing that we can take action and we are able to manifest those new beginnings for ourselves. Even though summer is fading, there's still an opportunity for new growth. Just take a moment just to connect to nature, the wisdom of nature. We're already connecting to our wisdom wisdom within. But connect to nature. Imagine yourself standing in the sun and feeling the sun's strength on your skin, the brightness, the warmth. Imagine feet in the grass, feeling the softness, but knowing how sturdy the earth is. Imagine maybe smelling your favorite flower, your favorite scent in nature. Maybe listening to birds. Just immerse yourself in your favorite place in nature. Nature provides so much for us. Our food, our ability to provide shelter and clothing for ourselves, inspiration, that sense of expansiveness and opportunities. Take a moment to listen to wisdom's message to you. How can nature support you, nurture you, or nourish you? How does nature reflect back your wisdom? What lessons about flow and ease does wisdom have for you? I want you to really connect to that energy, connecting to that energy of yourself. Use a little bit of selenite so you can. We're going to connect in a couple different ways. I want you to sense, know, or feel however you bring in your intuitive knowing. I want you to bring in something that represents this new beginning for you. It can be a thought, it can be a word, image, feeling, sensation. What represents that new beginning for you? Take a deep breath in, sending that energy down to the heart chakra, down to your heart center. Allow it to fill that heart space, expanding as it goes. Just reflect. I open my heart to new beginnings with grace, ease, and courage, all for my highest good. We're done discounting ourselves, undermining our self-confidence and worth. Instead, we reflect, I am independent and wise. I am capable of successfully gathering resources for my highest good. Allowing that breath and energy to travel from the heart to the solar plexus, down to the sacral chakra, where it expands. I am so deserving of pleasure and joy without limits, without exceptions, or any unhealthy expectations. Use another crystal. This one's 7 stone. Pretty sure that's what it's called. I'm reflecting on, I enjoy the ease of finding fresh solutions and outlining manageable steps towards meeting my goals. There doesn't have to be a rush. There doesn't have to be pressure. There's no resistance because it's all supported by your wisdom, your intuitive knowing, flowing out of your strengths, your gifts, your talents. And reflecting that we're releasing self-criticism. Self-criticism and other harsh words keep me frozen. Instead, I choose loving, supportive, and compassionate words so that I may heal and grow. I release the expectations of getting everything right every time. I honor that good enough is good enough. And I am free to adapt, to evolve, to transform when and how it feels right just for me. And I'm going to be quiet just for a moment, just to allow those intentions to settle. As we begin to release the meditation and to release going within with Reiki to heal and to clear, anything that we're needing to for this new moon in Virgo. Just know that you can always tap into that inner wisdom through quiet, patience with yourself, patience with receiving messages. But know that you'll see those synchronicities, see those signs, those guideposts letting you know that you're on the right path. Allowing your faith and hope to pull you forward. And anchoring in that emotion, what that feeling is, what you're going to receive or experience with that when that new beginning becomes reality, right? So you can take a deep breath in to release the meditation. Bring yourself back to the now, the present. I always need to wiggle my fingers and toes to wake up my body. And if you haven't, you can open your eyes. So hopefully that helps a little bit for connecting to the energy, not only that frenzied energy at the beginning when I was all crazy about everything, but also just that quiet peace that comes with going within, that incredible intuitive knowing that we have all the resources that we need within us. It's amazing. It's amazing what you can do with what you have, with what you already possess today. Doesn't matter if you've been through a training or not, if you've read something in a book or gone to something, I don't know, a training or a workshop. It doesn't matter. You already have it. It's already wisdom you have. So JL says, thank you. That was powerful. The affirmations were spot on. And Mahalo Mindset says, energizing. Thank you. You're welcome. And, I invite you, if you want to connect, obviously there's always opportunities. I'm going to do a little bit of shameless plugging for myself. This Sunday is going to be Sacred Circle, where we're talking about manifesting, turning our dreams into reality. I was really, really excited about this one because I, again, had pulled some cards on it, and I was like, of course, this is supporting us with sign synchronicities and how to manifest. I think manifesting, I don't know, it sort of rubs me the wrong way sometimes, but I feel like it's a nice word to encompass like receiving what we want in our lives, moving forward with that new beginning so we get the end result that we're hoping for. So I just feel like it's a nice word that sort of encapsulates that energy. So you're more than welcome to sign up for that. That's somewhere. I don't know where the link is. I can put it in this, but it's on my website. It's Eventbrite is where you buy the tickets, and then we're on Zoom. It's live. I don't record it. So anybody that's interested in that can come. Also, I'm going to do something completely new. Talk about new beginnings. I'm going to do a 5-day immersion starting September 25th. And what does that mean? It's going to be awesome. So I took 5 concepts of autumn, 5 things that we're going to be working on for healing ourselves. So it's 5 different healings. It is going to be done live, but I am going to record that. And I'm actually going to put it into Member Vault, which is a little bit of a portal where you can find, I'm going to have some journal prompts, some affirmations in there, a little bit of information. We're going to be working with some of the chakras. And so you can go back if you miss it, or you can't take off time from work, or you're sleeping or whatever it might be. You can go in and see it at any time. But the 5 healings I'm super excited about. The first one, we're going to be honoring our wisdom. We're going to be honoring that wise sage archetype, which is so fabulous. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, it's feminine, wise energy, doesn't matter, you have it. So there's that. We're going to be working with womb medicine the next day. And that, again, doesn't really matter if you're a man or a woman or don't even have a womb. It doesn't really matter. It's that energetic space. And so we need to do a little bit of healing there usually. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be tapping into and honoring our ancestors, our ancestral wisdom. The end of October, thinning of the veil, right? We're going to have a lot of ancestry stuff coming up for us and reflecting on the ancestors, sending thanks and gratitude to the ancestors. But also, if we need to release something from the ancestors, we need to disconnect ourselves. Whatever has been coming down the line through ancestral trauma, if it's not ours, we don't have to keep working through it. So we're going to do a little bit of that. Then we're going to work on, what are we working on next? Oh, I know, kind of going within and taking care of ourselves, nourishing and nurturing ourselves, of course. And then the last day, we're going to work on balancing and rebalancing it's for fall energy for the autumn. So hopefully you're more than welcome to join up, or at least look into it if you would want. I'm only charging $57 for it. I did want there to be a little bit of I did want to receive a little bit back for the time that I'm putting into this, but I didn't want it to be so expensive that it wasn't something that people could afford. So it's 5 healings, 5 different days, 5 different energies that we're working with. And it's sort of to kick off not only this autumn energy, because we're going to be doing it September 25th to the 29th, but then also I've changed up how I'm going to be doing the soul journey coaching. So that is something that I do seasonally. It's a group coaching. We follow the energy of whatever season we're in. It's 6 weeks. I'm actually going to turn it into a membership, because I feel like so much goes on in between those group sessions, those group coaching sessions, that I want to make sure that we have opportunities to touch base. But then also I want you guys to use a little bit of like Oracle. We're going to be pulling Oracle cards, or I'm going to be pulling Oracle cards once a week for people, just to give a little bit of sense of like what we should be working with, focused on, aware of, which is kind of fun. And then I just want different opportunities for us to connect, different opportunities for me to provide healing. And because I'm sort of testing this out as a membership, it's also going to be on Member Vault. So if you do the 5-day immersion, so 5-day immersion is inspired by our friend Kali, Liberation. But it's really liberating yourself, turning your woundings into wisdom. So I'm super excited about that membership. Because I'm sort of moving it over, and I'm still working out with all the technology stuff. I'm going to offer it at a reduced rate. If you do the 5-day immersion, I'm actually going to apply that towards I'm going to give you a discount. I'm not going to apply it directly, I guess, because I have different tiers. But I'm going to give you a discount on this autumn's Soul Journey group coaching. Ooh, that's a lot of words for me to say. Membership. So if that's something you're interested in, there's going to be information about the membership. I think I'm putting that out next week. Yes, but that's going to start in October. So no rush on that one, just one thing at a time, right? So I have lots of ways for us to connect, lots of ways for me to support healing, connecting to the energy, connecting to yourself, connecting to your wisdom, and just really making sure that you have, sometimes I feel like we need a roadmap. We need a little direction and a little guidance. When I was younger, I would have loved a little bit of insight, a little bit of guidance, and there was nothing like that available to me, right? We didn't have the internet when I was a kid. We didn't have it until probably college, and even then we didn't really use it a whole lot. But yeah, I'm old. But I feel like there's so many opportunities now for us to get that information. It's absolutely fabulous. But I just want to be able to provide provide service to clients, people that are needing it. So Hopefully that some of that resonates. If not, no worries. I'm still going to be doing the free Q&As, these live Q&As. I am going to have topics. So if you have any questions, if you're not part of the membership but still have questions about the energy of the topics or how you can work with it, you're more than welcome to email me or join me for the live Q&As. I will say I will be here next Friday. We're going to be working on, I'm excited, the equinox, the energy of the autumn equinox. So that's going to be fun. So we're going to be doing that next Friday. That's the 22nd. The following Friday, I won't be doing a live Q&A because I'll be doing that 5-day immersion, but you're welcome to look at any of my replays if you want. And if you have any questions, reach out to me, obviously. JL says, agree. If I would have had your channel as a kid, aw. you, Kelly, that's awesome. Yeah, no, well, thanks. I think that's a compliment for me, right? Yeah, it's funny. For people that have been working with me for longer than a year, you'll know how much Kali has come up for me and how much I've been like, I'm not sure if I'm ready for that yet. But this time it sort of hit me in a different way. It really resonated. And I just have a lot of clarity about what needs to be stirred up in my life for what reason, right? And it's exciting. And I hope that you guys can tap into that excitement too, that you can get to that place where you feel really excited about your new beginnings and confident in your ability to make it happen for yourself. And as I'm saying that, I'm reminded, okay, co-creating. You're co-creating it with your guides, your guardians, anyone that supports you. But you don't have to do all the heavy lifting on your own. You just sort of have to dream it and take inspired action when you can. And I think the rest sort of falls into place. I know that's a little simplistic description of that, but that's really how I feel. So, any questions, any comments, any concerns, let me know. Otherwise, look forward to connecting again. And I'm so looking forward to autumn. I love fall. Fall's my I think I probably say fall, spring, and summer are my favorite seasons. Winter, not so much. I like the energy of it. I just don't like the cold and the snow in Chicagoland. So, that being said, I hope everybody has a fabulous weekend, or whenever you're listening to this, I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. If you do want to connect, you can always find me at Rivers Journey Wellness on Instagram, or you can find me at my website, Rivers Journey Wellness, as well. All right. Take care.